If you adored and/or were traumatized by Alvin Schwartz's The Green Ribbon, maybe you'd like to hear an older version that's both hornier and utterly bleak. I'm sharing Washington Irving's Adventure of a German Student tonight on
Fucked Up Fairy Tales with Liz.
Ding! On a dark and stormy night, a German student named Gottfried Wolfgang was wandering the city of Paris when he met a woman who would profoundly impact his life. You see, Gottfried's friends had encouraged him to take this trip because he was a lonely intellectual type. He studied metaphysics, and he was getting way too into his own head. And his head was a very dark place. How you doing, Gottfried, my man? How am I doing? Well, every day I'm cursed to rot in this flesh prison. I'm being tortured by literal fiends who haunt my mind. The complexities and mysteries of the universe are too big to comprehend. And yet, I can't stop staring into the abyss and pondering the question, why? So, nothing new. Sounds like you need a vacation. I could set you up at a cute flat in Paris for a bit. I have heard Paris is lovely this time of year. The problem was, this time of year in Paris happened to be the reign of terror. And the streets were literally running with the blood of anyone who pissed off the tribunal. Understandably, it turned out not to be a fun place to be hanging out. So Gottfried spent his entire time there as a recluse. Most of his vacation he spent between two activities. At the library, obsessively reading any dusty old book by a dead philosopher he could find, and wildly fantasizing about women he was too insecure to actually talk to. Bonjour, monsieur. Saving that for the spank bank later. What? Did I say that out loud? He fantasized in particular about a woman he believed had appeared to him in a dream. A highly idealized, too perfect, otherworldly beauty. He was kind of driving himself mad, so intense was he fantasizing about this mythical woman. Back to our opening line. One night, as he was walking home, he found himself caught in a storm, and he accidentally found himself wandering by the site of the bloody guillotine. Ah! But as he turned away to get the hell out of there, he noticed a woman cowering on the steps. She appeared to be of the aristocracy, and she was soaked to the bone and shivering. As he approached her, she caught his eye, and Gottfried was astonished to see the very face that had haunted his wet dreams. My lady, what brings you to this terrible place, and in such a horrendous storm? Please, let me escort you to a nearby friend for shelter. The woman pointed to the guillotine wildly. I have no friend on earth. Do you have a home I can escort you to? Yes, in the grave! So you'd think with his fixation on hauntings and the metaphysical, that Gottfried's hairs would be rising on his neck. But there was only one thing on Gottfried that was rising that night. I hope this doesn't give you the wrong idea, but perhaps you'd care to be escorted to my own flat? I myself am a stranger in this land, and I seek no impertinence, but rather wish to be of service to a soul in need. All right. Thank you. He led her by the arm to his home, much to the shock of his landlady, who had never seen a woman cross the threshold before. Once he had her upstairs, he was a little embarrassed about his stodgy bachelor pad, but his companion didn't seem to mind, and in fact she had relaxed a lot. And now Gottfried really took in how gorgeous she was. Wild raven tresses, huge mournful eyes, snow-white skin, a dress that revealed the symmetry of her body, and a big black velvet choker on her neck. She was essentially a goddess of the Tim Burton universe, and she wasn't just a looker. Oh, you're studying Aristotle. You're a scholar of his work? I've pored over his words and ideas many times. You're not like other girls. Her stunning looks, combined with their mutual intellectual interests, led him to lay his desires bare. My lady, I can hide it no longer. I have loved you long before I met you. Your face has haunted my dreams for weeks. I can't sleep, so fervently have I wished for you to be in my arms. And now you're here, and I can't believe my dream has come true. How curious. I felt an instant connection myself when our eyes met. You know, I was going to offer to find another place to stay tonight for propriety's sake. Oh, propriety. Such a gauche and old-fashioned concept. Yes! For clearly, you and I are one united soul, though we may be encased in two separate bodies. Well, come a little bit closer, baby, 'cause tonight is the night that two become one. Take my hand, my lady. I pledge myself to you forever. Forever? Forever. Then I am yours. And then, they fucked. The next morning, Gottfried left his lover in bed and went out to inquire about getting a flat that was more suitable for a couple. When he returned, he found his lover unconscious, pallid, and slumped over the bed in an unnatural fashion. He took her hand and found it cold and bloodless. It was clear she was dead. Oh no! Summon the police! An officer entered the flat. Sacre bleu! How did this woman get here? What do you mean? She walked here with me last night. Impossible! This woman was guillotined only yesterday. With that, the officer reached out and unclasped the choker from around the woman's neck, and the men watched as her head rolled to the ground. Ah! The fiend! The fiend who has haunted me! Officers, I need backup. This man has clearly escaped the asylum. And the asylum is where Gottfried spent the rest of his short and tortured life. The end. This story is available online if you'd like to read it. It's really enjoyable and short, and I hope you enjoyed my interpretation. And on that note...
Fucked up fairy tales with Liz.
Ding!